Well, hey everybody, this is Don from Wizard Tower Games, and joining me is the innumerable Tim Kask. Now, I made. Let me go ahead and let me deal with my echo. How's that?
Well, if there's people out there hanging on your every word,
Okay,
oh,
now it's cleaned up.
okay, good. You
All
back.
right, all right, everybody. And as people sign on, there is a series of events that happened in the last week involving Justin Lanasa. Now, I am going to openly call out Justin if I can prove it is him. And I wanted to show everybody openly what happened. And I'm going to start off with there was actually three major events that happened, and I'm going to discuss them. And Tim's going to have a few things to say. Now, I want everybody to understand something. First, I announced this earlier this evening, and I'm going to share my screen a couple times. And the reason I'm going to share my screen is because I think it's important that people see the communications I get. I shared this live video at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. I got this 2 hours ago. Basically, it says one chance to not do your slanderous video or you'll pay for your lies big. No one gives a shit about fake veterans and you never served on. You can pay off investigators all you want to, and Wizard Con job will never happen. We will make sure of it. It's
Wonderful spelling.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that that's from Justin. Sorry about this. I'm just saying that's the email I got. Now, this email highlights two very important things. Now, let me explain a little bit of something. I got to give you guys a little bit of background. In the state of a lot of states out there put up with a lot of nonsense from these idiots out there who are stolen valor. They claim they're veterans, they claim they're combat vets, special ops. In a lot of states, pretty much you have to really kill somebody with it before they really give a shit. Michigan's quite the opposite. Michigan takes it very seriously. As a matter of fact, our governor signed a law into effect a couple of years ago called the Stolen Valor Act, and they basically have a zero tolerance policy for people who claim they're veterans. Now, back when I was in the fold drinking gallons of Kool-Aid with new TSR and doing some work for him, I went ahead. I was on the phone one day with Justin, and he was regaling me with his Blackwater antics and special operations in Iraq, dark operations, and his stuff. Yeah, with the FBI. Sorry, Hovermail was there too. He heard it too.
Oh, I didn't do
So,
this.
yeah, yeah. You never knew about the Blackwater ID card?
Oh
That they
no.
don't call it Blackwater? Yeah, yeah. I'll show it to you after the video. I actually have it posted somewhere. But at any rate, so afterwards, me and Justin's on the phone. And I think Justin was vetting me out because Justin's like, "Whoa, doesn't Michigan, you got a VA ID, don't you?" And I'm like, "I got a veterans ID." And he goes, "Doesn't Michigan have like a veterans designation?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my driver's license right there has a red veterans designation, which proves I'm a veteran." Now, how do you get that? When you go get your driver's license, you have to go to the Secretary of State and you have to present either a certified copy of your DD 214 or your Veterans Administration identification card. Guys do it all the time. You get a VA, or not a VA plate, Army veteran plate, all that good shit.
I did it that way.
Yeah, because
And
you're a
it's on
veteran.
Ohio does the same thing on the driver's license.
Yep. So what ended up happening was this. Life moves on. Well, last Monday, I got hit with a trifecta of events from Justin Lanasa. Yes, Justin, it was you. Yes, it was. Because I get a phone call from an investigator from the state of Michigan. And this investigator goes ahead and says, "We have a report that you are claiming you're a veteran when you're not." Now, she was rather aggressive with me, to say the least. My response to her was rather aggressive back. So I kind of pissed this lady off because she's kind of thinking to herself, here's this stolen valor guy doubling down on me, an investigator with the state. I made it in no uncertain terms what I felt. And then I mentioned Justin Lanasa, and she couldn't tell me. But then I mentioned a couple other names, and she flat out said, no, it's not them. So what I went ahead and did is she gave me until today, Thursday, to either prove that I'm a veteran or my ass was had. So what I did, somewhere around here, I got my 214. I'm married to a teacher. You know how many freaking boxes I got in my basement full of paperwork? I don't know where my 214's at. So I called the county on Monday. Yeah, mine's handy now. Oh,
Mine
back, I
always
got
has
back.
been.
I have to back up. So I tell her, well, in order to get my VA designation on my ID, I showed my Veterans Administration ID card. She says, yeah, we have a photocopy of it from the Secretary of State, but I heard you are a Photoshop expert. Now, who has said many times Don is a Photoshop expert? Justin Lanasa. So end result was this. I call the county because in my county, sometimes they keep copies of Veterans 214s on file. They did not have mine. But the lady at my county register said, look, you can call the local VA Veterans Administration chapter. It's right across the street, which is about 12 minutes that way from my house. And they could possibly check. I called them, talked to Tyla, really nice lady. Guess what? I'm in their system. Honorably discharged Army veteran. There, Justin, you got it on tape even. So I went ahead and I sent all that in. And then what I ended up having is I basically emailed her because I was curious when this original complaint came in. And this is what she sent me. She sent me, I said, basically, I'd like to know one thing if possible. What is the date of the original complaint? I redacted her name because I don't want people bugging her. She said July 17th, 2023. So he complained back in July about me, which is really odd because it's a violation of the federal stay that Wizards of the Coast has protecting subpoenaed witnesses. So I said, thank you. When verified, can you close and confirm with me? And she said, yes. Now, her tone in this email was much nicer this time because she's starting to kind of get the gist that she's been lied to. So the end result of all of this is this. And it was this. I got this. Yesterday, Wednesday. She didn't take too long. Good afternoon, Mr. Samora. Case closed, investigation closed. The investigation's been completed and is now closed. When you renew your license this year, you need to take your 214 with you because now they have to scan 214s. So basically, they've updated the system for the appropriate documentation. She's put a note on my account, and she said maybe you could even mention it to the clerk. It would be helpful to us. Thank you for your cooperation and best wishes. Agent so-and-so, Michigan Department of State, Special Investigations Section, yada, yada, yada. We checked through FOIA. She acted very quickly. Justin Lanasa made the complaint. You know, so close to Veterans Day, too. And I didn't even get my free meal at Applebee's out of it, Justin. I mean, this is what this guy does, people. This is what this guy does. He attacks people. And, you know, Tim, I'm curious something about Justin. I wonder if Justin has a veteran's designation on his driver's license.
I don't know. It depends. I'm not exactly sure of his age, and I don't know how hard up the Army might have been when he was at eligible age.
Coast Guard.
He doesn't strike me as being a volunteer type where he might put his ass in danger.
Oh, when you ask him what he did, and this is public record, I mean, he's blasted all over. He was a tanker. He was an infantryman. He was in the Coast Guard. He was in rescuing people in the Perfect Storm. Yeah, he was on that crew that rescued all of them. Now, Kim Winston, David Floor, and the rest of the crew, they did a really good job on this. I actually checked. The ship that Justin lists as him being stationed on the Coast Guard during the Perfect Storm was in dry dock getting retrofitted or having repairs. So go figure. Well, if that was not enough out of Justin Lanasa, okay, he went after Wizard Con also. I'm no sooner, and I'm not joking, hanging up the phone, Tim, on Monday. And I get an email from the Kellogg Arena going, Mr. Samora, we're getting emails about you from a guy. It's given us pause. Can you, call me? So I called her up, And she was very, very gracious, and she shared all of his emails with me. This was the first one. Now, I'm leaving his email public because my attorney today told me I can. It's not doxing. It's not a violation of YouTube terms of services because it's public record because he posts it all over. But I did redact his email or the email from the Kellogg Arena and also his phone number. As you can see, he wants to know if a person Don Samora from Wizard Con have your event. God, this guy needs. I'm going to buy him a freaking grammar book, 5th grade grammar book. He needs to relearn it. And register for July 19th to 24th. It was actually the 19th to 21st, Justin, but you're a fucking idiot, so you don't realize that. So that's what he sent the Kellogg Arena. Then he goes ahead, and because she didn't respond to him, he goes ahead and he sends her one of 4. This is the first one of 4. You're going to love this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of leave this up while I talk so people have a chance to read. He uses Chewbacca at mailfence.com because he's a coward. And what he basically, and I'm going to read it, I'll just read it out loud. He basically says, I'm a concerned citizen who wishes to give you a heads up before you become part of a major scam by a fraudster named Donald Samora. I wish to remain anonymous because there are several investigations ongoing for fraud in which Samora is suspect. He said that in another court venue back in July, which I'm going to get to here in a few minutes. The state of Michigan has an investigation into his activities. Gee, the open investigation to my activities that he just got told was closed. So he outed himself right there. Then he says, before you get in a position in which you're depending on him to pay you money, which, by the way, folks, the Kellogg Arena requires you to pay in full before you can have the venue space. They don't just say, pay us later. You should perform a background and credit check on him. Justin, anytime you want to compare credit scores, I'm saying it right here, happy to compare mine to yours, okay? He goes ahead and he says his current scam of holding a the Wizard Convention, again, too stupid to get the name right, at the Kellogg Arena promises to be his biggest scam yet, and he's already selling tickets for it. First of all, no, I have not sold any tickets for it. Yeah, you're right, Calvoni. He's a total slime ball. And the reason why I haven't sold tickets yet or put it on tabletop events because we were actually working out with, and we still are, by the way, he didn't succeed. We're working out the Kellogg Arena placement of where the vendors are at for maximum, and they charge per table, they charge per booth,
dividing curtains, chairs, yes.
He doesn't know that because his TSR con, and I meant convention, he just basically threw a bunch of donuts and pizza on the table and called it a convention. This one's being done correctly. He attached the news report when I sold my company, of course, because that's his big ammo that he has. And he says, I was convicted of several felony frauds and served time. And once I was convicted, all my victims took me to court and got civil judges against me. And then I redacted because he got really vulgar in here. And that will make YouTube yank this part down. Now that I'm out of prison, I've developed scams, mostly involving tabletop gaming industry. I've been married to my wife 15 freaking years. Honey, sorry, I guess I was in prison for most of the time I was married to you and with you. Jeez. Now that I'm out of prison, I'm doing tabletop scams involving the gaming industry, and do your due diligence before you get in bed with him. No, Justin, I get your terminology, but it's not the correct terminology used to a woman professionally when you're trying to narc somebody out and report them. But he will cause you endless loss and has no remorse. Also, this is the best part. Also know the Calhoun County District Attorney has been presented with evidence several times of Samora's wrongdoing. And
it says wrong doging.
Oh, wrong doging. Sorry. Wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you, Tim. I guess I'm a wrong doger.
Yeah, come on, man. Don't you know how to write doge?
I know.
All
and
right.
He's declined to press charges, so he somehow has a connection that shields him. So now I have connections that shield me.
Well, sure. It's protection from evil.
Yeah, but the thing is this. Do you notice something? In his email, in the anonymous email that I got right before this video tonight, I got accused of also having protection. Any rate, I'm going to cause endless loss and no remorse. And come convention time, I guarantee people will show up to an empty arena wanting to know where the convention is in Don Samora, if he can be found. Not that I don't live in Battle Creek and have my address plastered.
Oh, wait, where's the video? Where's
What's
the
that?
video? He says he's got a video.
He never linked it. That was the thing that puzzled her. She said, I wouldn't click the link anyways because I don't trust it. But she goes, never put a video in there. So then he goes, if he can be found, we'll be full of excuses to you and them. He's already making them on various social media about his most recent scams, from defrauding thousands of dollars from unsuspecting victims. I can verbalize the sock excuses he's used. Next email will have the video. There was a total of 4 emails. If you notice, the date is October 19th, 2023, which is 2 days after he sent the inquiry email. And the latest one that was sent was last Friday. I believe it was the 4th or 3rd or 4th. So he's been sending several emails also. So basically what ended up happening is he attempted to screw up Wizard Con because he's jealous. It didn't work. What ended up happening was, actually, the lady Kelly who runs it basically told me, she says, we actually get this nonsense all the time because conventions are so competitive. And she goes, you've done nothing but act with honor and integrity with us. And that's going to key into my next comment. And this is a little bit of advice about Justin. You see, Justin, there's a reason why nobody would work with you with new TSR. And Tim can elaborate on this with his part. I won't put words in his mouth. But when you approach people, and I'll give you an example. I've had 2 well-known names that are associated with the original TSR hobbies decline attending my convention. My verbatim response was, well, I appreciate you considering it. I wish you well. And if you ever change your mind, let us know. We'd love to have you. I treated them with respect. I didn't threaten them. I didn't tell them to suck my balls. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. I didn't.
I was the one that was supposed to do that.
Yeah, you got accused of sucking Luke's balls, I think is what it was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But the thing is, I didn't attack people. I thanked them graciously. I treated them with respect. And that's the reason why I think I have people come to my convention, because I treat people fair, with respect, and I follow my word. I'm sorry you don't, Justin. And you can get mad about this live video all you want. I don't give a shit, because I'm fed up. Now, the third one, I am not going to talk about, and the reason why, because it involved my wife, and it is involving law enforcement, and I've been advised not to talk about it. I'll tell you later on, Tim. Well, I've already told you about it, Tim.
Yeah, it's heinous.
Yeah, and so the thing is this, is my message to Justin is this, is that this isn't, this video, you can get mad about all you want. I've already been approved through my attorney to do it. I'm going to out you. I'm going to out you every single time. And if you keep up this nonsense, let me know in the comments section of this video, okay? Because if I have to, this is what I'm willing to do, Justin. And you can't sue me for it, because it's all the truth. I will go ahead and I will provide a Dropbox link to every vlogger and game blogger, period, that I can find. I'll send that Dropbox link along with the letter to every single newscast that I can find. CBS, ABC, NBC. My attorney actually will help me. And in that Dropbox will be every video, unredacted conversation we've had, every email unredacted, every audio call unredacted, PM, all of our text, our complete Discord chat, every image, everything that I have, including the group of people that are behind me right now that have given me statements on my behalf, including your private conversations with them. And they said, Don, if you're going to call me as a witness, go ahead and do it against them. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. And there's one more thing I want to explain about D20 Delving, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Tim have known this, but I'm going to let everybody else know. The reason why D20 Delving got held up by customs was anonymous. They got anonymous messages saying that I was importing, trying to bring into the United States illegal substances. Now, you got my shit held up, whoever you are. How's that? I'll put it that way. You got my games held up. Nobody's pissed at me. Nobody's canceled orders. Everybody's been notified of the delays. But I'll say this with Tim Castan right next to me. I'll tell you what, I do deliver, and I guarantee it'll be delivered like a good game. I don't screw people over. And your little games that you played, whoever you are, how's that? Are going to be done, because I'm not joking. I will data dump. I'm not joking. I will data dump everything I have on your ass. And you can get mad all you want, because according to my attorney, as long as it's not lies or Photoshop, bingo. And there's things that you don't know, Justin. We've had things looked at far more than a handwriting expert. I can prove that your Discord is yours. I can prove that the emails you sent me came from you. I'm done playing your fucking games. So, but just before Tim gets involved here, I want to regale everybody. So this is what I've been going through now with anonymous mail. You know, there was this one, anonymous mail sent August 4th to me, basically telling me that you want to call people cowards, explain why these emails are used. They are used as scum-sucking fakes like you will use them in court. So to keep a moderate level of privacy, they are used. He's admitting that he uses anonymous mail because he doesn't want to use it in court. He starts talking about, what do you really make? What do you really do? Yada, yada, yada. You know, there's this one right here. This is the one I got today, or on July 23rd. Now, this is a really interesting anonymous mail, Tim, because on July 23rd was the day before the bankruptcy creditor meeting. And it says this: cause any problems tomorrow, you'll not be happy. We know where you live, where your wife works. Lies will get you dealt with swiftly. This is being sent using a VPN on the Onion router, so not trackable. We are serious. Just stay away from the hearing tomorrow. Be smart, be funny, and you can bury another loved one. By the way, the powers that be love this one. That's the kind of crap I get.
Really, that's such a low blow. I don't even know how I call it.
Oh no, it got lower. July 16th. This is the anniversary of my daughter Danielle dying. Happy dead kid day, loser. LOL. You know, I'm gonna tell you something. This is the kind of crap that I have been enduring regularly. And it's a series of anonymous emails, and it is a series of, pseudonyms, and they, I'm sorry, I'm just going to call it out what it is. I think it's Justin. And so does a lot of other people.
Yeah, but then there's his Grima Wormtongue.
Mm-hmm. Dave Johnson.
And Grima, sometime in the past, outlined how he would destroy someone using social media. Mm-hmm. And it's almost a game plan for what they've been doing to you, and to a much lesser extent doing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And this was well before it started. So it's either hubris or stupidity or a combination of both. That's it. We know it's him and or his cabal. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter if you hired the hitman. If the hitman shot the guy, you go with him.
Yep.
So you can be feeding somebody's ears full of this vile shit. I've been attacked several times with bogus, charges from the past that mm-hmm. have been refuted by people who were there. I don't know why he has to belittle everyone else. He's mad at me because he originally thought that I might be willing to let him exhibit some stuff in the museum, until I found out it wasn't going to be that kind of museum. And I think mm-hmm. that probably chapped his jeans a little bit.
Yeah. Well, there's an interesting point that you make. You make a point about his little partner. And I'm just going to name the guy, Dave Johnson, because Dave in the last...
Oh, no, I was thinking of the other one.
Oh, Yak?
No, Hovermail.
Oh, Hovermail. I'm talking about Dave Johnson. The reason I bring Dave Johnson up, because Dave Johnson specifically came out underneath, and he 1-star reviewed all my books on Amazon.
Oh, what a...
I got him removed, but the point is, the childish shit. Then he made like a post on his one page, and when I made my special video, he took it all down because he's a coward. But this is what I find interesting, Tim, about Dave Johnson, is when this comes down to a courtroom, and it's going to come down to a courtroom. When they get Dave Johnson in a room all by himself with his attorney, if he's smart enough to get one, he's probably too dumb to get one. But when they get him in a room and they tell him it's your ass, or you can testify on against Lanasa, what do you think Dave Johnson's going to do?
Well, if his weaselly actions up to this point are any indication, he's going to weasel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going to cover his own ass.
Yep.
Oh, hubris. Yeah, I have to define hubris for Justin.
Yeah, it's above 6th grade level, reading level.
Yeah, and you have to spell it right, or else you don't say it. You know, it's not hubris.
Yeah.
Or hubris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, the petty stuff that he did trying to discredit me, just smacks me of childishness.
Yeah.
And not the genius that he thinks he is, or, you know, he'd have done it better. The whole dumpster fire that went on up there a couple of years ago and started this whole mess, started with bigotry and sexism and racism. These are these same people. And I don't, you know, I hear bits and pieces here and there from various sources, but I understand that when this lawsuit gets done with him, the one in which he thought his grand scheme would be to snap this up, sit on it, and they would come and pay him a lot of money to buy it back, is going to basically wring him out like we're making sausages.
Yeah.
Stripping chitlins, I think it's called.
Well, the thing is, you know, if any indication is, you know, you look at WotC's declarations, that they have almost $1 million in legal fees in this right now alone. Now, I imagine Justin's at least $250,000 into it. You know, because I mean, he's going after, you know, Eric Stina. You know, he's got his issues in North Carolina now, which I can't really talk about myself because I'm a creditor. You know, and it's just like, he's not the brightest light bulb in his mother's Christmas tree.
Well, I heard that he was so ill-schooled in this that he made several amateurish mistakes that got other entities that he's involved with entangled in this. So,
I can put one thing bluntly, like when he purchased the Dungeon Crawl from me, he paid me from like 5 different LLCs,
which now makes them all party to the bankruptcy and makes them eligible for seizure.
Yeah, my attorney called it commingling.
Chitlins again.
Well, you know, the thing is this, you know, I'm a big boy. You know, if you want to go ahead and send me emails, you know, that just delegates you to what you are, a child. But, you know, what this guy does is just like what he did to Eric, and he attacked Eric's wife for having albinism and having poor eyesight. And he went after Tom Verolt's wife, and he went after Tom Verolt's the daughter who's developmentally disabled. He went after my dead daughter, my wife. I mean, he's got no balls. I mean, I can promise you that he'll never say anything to that effect to any of us in the same room. I mean, he attacks women and children. And then he, you know, he made the website, you know, against me that WotC had taken down. And, you know, the guy is he just thinks the normal rules don't apply to him. And, you know, like I said, I'm a big boy. Attack me, whatever. Promise you'll never say it to my face. But, you know, going after my wife and my daughter who passed away, that's it. And now he's going after the convention because he's jealous of it. He's trying to get me for stolen valor, which was absolutely laughable.
That enrages me, that he would try to attack something as deeply meaningful to all of us vets. Yeah. And try to cast aspersions on that. That both aggrieves me and it pisses me off.
Yeah.
I guess that's right. I'm supposed to be looking up here.
Oh, no, you're fine. I'm kind of looking at the comments too as they come across. You're right, Kim. And the thing is this is going to be, um, this. I don't know how that you can engage in these activities and just think it's going to work out for you. You know.
Well, service records of service, I believe, are public record. You can find out if that person with that name ever served in any of the military. I don't.
Yeah, they'll send you a copy of the unredacted DD-214, and actually, I'm going to do one better, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to be making a very detailed video, and I'm going to basically be making Justin an offer. I'll go first. I'm going to go through, and I'm going to show my DD-214. I'm going to redact my service number because it's my social security number. But I'm going to redact my service number. But other than that, I'm going to blast my 214 in a video. I'm not ashamed of what I did. And the thing is people like Justin, he has muddied the water so much. He made the claims that he worked with Blackwater, and he did that to me and Hovermail both. And
why can't now? If I'm just postulating, speculating. I'm speculating. Somewhere in the public records surrounding this bankruptcy, there should be enough information that you could go to go to the VA and find out whether this person existed in their records.
I have already done some research, and the problem with that is no, you can't. The problem with the VA is under Donald Trump, there was some laws passed that really inhibit the ability for people to pull veterans records. And they did that because of this influx of YouTube videos, people using these records for nefarious means and that type of stuff. The only thing I think that, according to the lady at the VA here in Battle Creek, what you can get is you can get a confirmation. Yes, they did serve. This was the dates of their service. This is the character of their discharge.
All right. So,
and I think you can get what they did in the military.
I don't want to see their records. I'm saying I'll bet he wasn't even in.
Well, I think, and Kim Winston's in here. I think Kim's already vetted. I think he was legitimately in the Coast Guard. And I think Eric Tenkar, I'm not sure if Eric's, I think he's doing his thing on his Discord, his tavern talk. But I think Eric's Tenkar also, because they're battling right now in federal court, and that was brought up.
Okay, I'm reading her.
Hold on.
Against Tenkar, he provided his. He was a private.
Oh, here, hold on.
He was like an E1.
Yeah, he got out as a PV1. Now, in order to get out as an E1
in today's rating systems,
well, it's called E1 in today's rating systems.
Yeah, E1.
Yeah. So in order to get out, Kim, by the way, Kim's from New Zealand, I think. So Kim isn't used to, I think, the military American terminology.
I was going to say you're an E1 in boot camp.
Yeah, boot camp. You enter boot camp as an E1 or an E2. Hell, when I was going through boot camp at Fort Dix, I knew guys were E3s.
Yeah, if you had 2 years of college.
Yeah,
I was in earlier than you.
Yeah, when I went in, they had a program where if you had like buddies join with you.
Yeah, I went in on that.
Yeah, if you got one buddy, they gave you one. You got up to E2, private E2.
Oh no, it wasn't that. They just let us go through boot camp together.
Okay, no.
Incentive for bringing in guys.
No, when I went in, what they did is they had
like a press gang.
Yeah. No. When I went in, they had a thing where if you had like you got one guy to join with you, and he actually joined up. You got E2, and if you got 3 people, they gave you E3.
You came out in E3. You didn't sew them on until graduation, but you had to have I think 2 years of college.
Yeah.
So all the rest of us came out as E2s.
So to be in the military and get out as an E1, I think Eric said the record was that he assaulted somebody that was in the military at one time.
So he got busted.
Yeah.
So he got busted down, but yet he still had an honorable discharge?
Don't know. I don't know if it was honorable. I don't know if it was general. I don't know if he had an honorable with like an RE4, RE code or whatnot.
I don't know. There was a lot of codes that didn't exist when I was there.
Now they have a thing called, or at least when I was in, when you got discharged, they gave you an RE code, reentry code. So it's like if you really fucked up but not big enough to get a dishonorable or a general, they give you like an RE4. You know, RE1 means you got out honorable, you could go right back in after 6 months.
No, I must have had the equivalent of a 4, because when they shoved me out the door, only the top admiral in the Navy could approve me coming back in. My leading chief hated me so bad. He thought I cared.
Chief Petty Officer?
Oh,
I've heard rumors of those guys.
Oh. He hated me. I hated him. He thought I would be upset that I wasn't recommended for reenlistment. I was like, yay, I'm getting out. I've had 4 years of this nonsense. Goodbye, you evil little weasel.
Yeah. But the thing is, this is it was a year and a half in the Army.
Oh, he got Coast Guard and Army?
From what he claims.
Well, now I know that when I was in, officers could switch services, because we had 2 former Air Force pilots in our Navy squadron flying A6s. They transferred over so that they could fly these planes. And I don't know how difficult that is for enlisted. Boy.
Well, I will tell you something. I know that now this is your era, Tim. My dad went in the 50s and one of the first warrant officer programs for helicopters back in the mid 50s.
All right.
And then
I was still a kid in the mid 50s.
Yeah. And then in the mid 60s, when Vietnam was kicking off, my dad actually left the Army and joined Air America. And he flew in Cambodia for Air America for 2 years. And then went
to the CIA.
And then he went to work in the Army. But he went back into the Army as a CW3, and he retired as a CW4 in 1974. Okay. So I know back then they did that.
It all right there.
Mm-hmm. And then I know that when I was in AIT, there was a guy who was of all places, he was in the Canadian Army, and he joined the United States Army, or he was going through AI. I think he was in the Canadian Army, but he was on loan. Because we had some Canucks.
Yeah, they did stuff like that when I was there too.
Yeah,
they swapped
but there's a lot of weird stuff regarding him, and like he told me in Hovermail, he drove tanks. He was in the infantry. He was in the Coast Guard. He was an FBI agent. He worked in law enforcement.
Oh God! Drove tanks. That's hilarious.
This is, and he owns what he calls a tank. What it is, it's an Australian ferret little mini 4-wheel armored car. It's really tiny. They got like a 20mm cannon on top.
Yeah.
That he has a broomstick shoved in now. And claims it's real, but it's
just about what it take to take one of those out too, as a well-placed 20mm round.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you had a Madus, a 50, you could probably.
Oh, Kim said he has provided certificate of honorable discharge for both Army and Coast Guard. Hey, Kim, did he provide the entire certificate, or did he redact real quick? I'm sure that he'll let us know. Kim will. Oh, hold on a minute. Let me just real quickly go down through his comments. Yeah, Desert Storm. Tom, I'll tell you what. I'll make a bet, open bet right here. I got $100 bill for anybody that can prove he was in Desert Storm. Sorry. I know that you don't think he was. I'm just saying. Yeah, legendism of mind. Yeah, trust me. Talk to the guy on the phone. Oh, that's right. I got the video calls recorded. I can back up what I say. So, Justin, if you see this video, you want to, by the way, open offer here. Comments will be open after this video is done. Justin, using your Justin Lanasa real account, if you'll call me a liar on anything, I'll be happy to make another video and I'll play it. How's that? Open offer for you, buddy. Vic, he can't spell the word degree, so I don't think so. Kim said that someone in N-World already pointed out he graduated in the wrong regiment to drive a tank. And then he redacted his position title in the Army. Bingo, there you go. When if you're going to redact something like your 214, I can understand
All right,
redacting your
they
service
dumped
number.
him out before they went to Desert Storm.
Yeah.
They didn't want to take him with. That's usually how they. When I was in, before deployment, they'd cut the deadwood or the problems.
You got to be a pretty big fuck up, Tim, for them not wanting your body for a war.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Deadwood.
Yep.
Yeah, you cut off the deadwood and you go in lean and mean.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's a real
crazy.
shame that this guy has done this, and he's obviously. I mean, he had the police show up at my house last February. I've already reported on that. That went nowhere. They investigated, determined nothing. He's obviously hurting about that because he mentioned it. And I had an interesting question posed to me a couple weeks ago, and that was someone asked me on Twitter, why does he mess with you so much? What's so special about you? I can answer that.
I've kind of wondered myself, unless it's just.
Oh, I can very easily explain it.
Well, I believe I've figured it out, but go ahead.
No, what do you think it is?
I think he's pissed off because you saw through him and scuttled his plans. He saw a much better game than he's capable of producing himself. The other game was pretty good, and Veralt's game is off by itself. And he's just he's pissed off because he all took his toys away.
That's about a third of it, but I think the other 2/3 of it is this: is keep in mind one thing. Until we announced that we had subpoenas from WotC, he never uttered a negative thing about me.
Oh,
never.
Okay. So he's trying to witness intimidation.
Absolutely. Once
yeah,
I
that
sat
makes
there,
a lot more sense.
Yep, because what happened was once I went ahead and we announced it on N-World, and the reason why me and Michael Hovermill announced we got subpoenas is because we knew shit was coming down, and we just didn't want people guessing and asking us a bunch of questions. So we figured we'd just say it,
Get out
be
in
done
front
with
of
it. Yep. Well, we did that. He calls me up on the phone, and he's like, "Don, need to do me a favor, my friend. All nice and sweet. We need to delete all of our email communication, Discord chats, all of our PMs, everything, because WotC can't, we don't want WotC delving in this." And I told him, I said, I can't do that. I've received a federal subpoena. I'm not lying to the court.
Yeah.
And what he told me was, hold on for the fucking ride. He's right. He's brought me on a ride. But the thing is what he doesn't like about me is I have communications with him that are very unique. I have proof that he commingled all of his accounts, and plus the fact that he owes me $7,300. He doesn't want me to collect on that, and it is I think he just is worried about the information I have. So everything he's done has been to try to discredit me. He initially
discredit or intimidate. That thing about I know where you live, and that's heinous.
Yeah. Kim said the general consensus I've seen is he got made a driver in the Army because he was too incompetent to be useful as a grunt, and nobody in staff wanted him. And then Tom from Tabletop Taproom says every time he tries to screw you over, he fails and gulls him, and you don't have to do much to overcome these attacks, and yet he stews on his failures. I think he's 100% right. And Cal Vioni,
he's mental,
certified, perfect, spot on. So
yeah, he's mad at a lot of people for, his ultimate dream was this museum.
Yeah,
and it's failed utterly. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, a couple of otherwise good people drank some of the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And now, almost like Brer Rabbit in the briar patch, they can't let go of the bunny.
Yeah.
Because they're too enmeshed in the financials of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. A couple of the people that got enmeshed, I don't see as schemers, but I can't say that for everybody that got enmeshed.
Yeah. The thing is, there's a reason why he wanted Hovermail involved and he wanted me involved. He wanted Hovermail involved because Hovermail, and I'll defend Mike in one way, is Hovermail was a 100% certified Kool-Aid drinking loyalist. I mean, he was up
Oh
at
God,
1
yes.
o'clock in the morning, doing tweets and all that and pushing. And Hovermail is legitimately not lying when he said Justin made promises of money to him, because Justin did in my presence. Justin promised him a share of the company, et cetera, et cetera. So, that much is true. The reason why he needed me is he wanted somebody that was able to design and produce. And that's what he wanted out of me. And that's what he does. If you notice something about Lanasa, like when you look at Ernie, he needs Ernie because he needed the Gygax name attached to the company. Like he told me, Wizards of the Coast being so close to the 50th, they're never going to sue me or countersue me, because not with a Gygax attached to it, because there'll be too much egg on their face. Well, to quote Venger Satanis, surprise, and, so that's why he needed Ernie. And that's why, since Ernie's unfortunate illness, and I'm glad he's getting back on his feet finally, you notice nothing from the TSR crowd. They don't give a shit about Ernie, And the reason why they need Leeson is because, again, they can say we had the co-creator of, so-and-so, and they need him to watch the place because Justin's in North Carolina, and
well, they needed Jeff's money. They needed Ernie's money.
That also.
And I feel sorriest for Jeff.
Jeff's a hell of a nice guy.
He is, and he drank way too much of the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he was encouraged by both the other two.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Jeff's, if there's anybody that should rinse off, it should be Jeff. I don't think any of this should stick to him.
Yeah, and the thing is, Tom mentioned, Deinhardt just mentioned Ernie in a post today. Of course he is now. Because Deinhardt's another little scum-sucking loyalist. I mean, I have texts where Lanasa is telling me that it was Deinhardt that was the racist Twitter guy back in the summer of 2021. That Deinhardt's the guy who did all this. That's what Hovermail told me too.
Is he the one that wrote the horrible crap about trans?
According to Lanasa and Hovermail, it was Deinhardt that was making all the bad tweets.
I got drug into that, and from that period on was what I began to call the dumpster fire in Lake Geneva.
Yep.
I was approached by several friends that I knew to be trans, and they asked me, could I use my trumpet?
Mm-hmm.
And I did, and it got massive reposting, including N-World.
Mm-hmm.
And we squashed all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But whoever it was just a blatant hater.
Mm-hmm.
And makes you remind me, in my case, I thought, how can anybody be this much of a hater? And you get images from the past of stuff like Crystal Knocked.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's just like Crystal Knock, in Germany. I mean, the thing is, these people.
Blind, stupid hatred.
Yeah. And.
If you're going to hate something, know why you hate it.
Well, and not only that, but, you look at, what I don't understand is this, is, I've reached out to Deinhardt and said, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. Here's images of what Justin's text. Justin sent me a screenshot of the NDA that Deinhardt signed with Deinhardt's address in it, with the note saying that this is where he lives, Don. He's the guy that's probably being the one sending you bad. This is the summer of 2022.
So he
docks his own friend.
Yeah, so he kicked what he perceived to be the weakest one out of the pack, and hoped that it would satisfy you.
And then on top of that, when Deinhardt, I guess, sends Justin a text saying, hey, Justin, I apologize for, the misunderstanding. I want to still be your friend. Justin sends me a copy of it, mocking him, basically saying the leech is coming back to go, kiss my ass. Ha, ha, ha. I sent it all to Deinhardt saying, this is what the guy's saying about you. He doesn't care. You know, I don't.
Jim Jones.
Yeah, it's just like, man, how? I mean, I get it. I used to, back in the early fall of 2021, I believed Justin because I didn't check, I didn't vet him.
I almost drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I came.
Well, because when you meet the guy, people ask how I got brought in. Well, it's real simple. I make a post. He says, hey, I'd love to have you a part of TSR. And I'm like, whoa, TSR's back? TSR Hobbies? Yeah. We're getting, Larry Elmore is working on Monster Manual 3 for us. We're working with Demio to put a large dungeon together. We want you part of it. And I admit.
Well, wasn't I on that list of mythical projects as well?
Remember, I messaged you?
My
text you, I was like, do you know what Justin Lanasa? And you says, advice, stay the hell away from him.
Well, I'd sussed him out by then.
Yeah.
I had a couple of artifacts that I was willing to put, loan to the museum.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out that it was not a nonprofit, it was a for-profit. And I just didn't talk about donating anything anymore.
Yeah.
Just that subject was off the table, and that pretty much cooled me with the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I ignored so many rants and stupid posts and that by his people. When he tried, I mean, here's hubris in its most obscene way. He tried to counter program a convention across the same weekend as Gary Con.
Well, a little history on that real quick.
In Lake Geneva.
Yep. Just to let you know, though, that convention, TSR Con, was supposed to be in June. And he got mad because he tried to kind of team up with Luke. And when Luke, I saw the message that Luke sent him back. Luke was gracious and polite to the guy. He was a dick in no way, just politely declined.
I'm aware of that.
Yep.
Correspondence. Yes.
Yep. And so what he did is he said, you know what? I'm going to fuck Gary Con. I'm going to put TSR Con the same weekend. And I remember that phone call it was a 3-way call between me, Dumbass, and Hovermail. And I told him, I said, you're not going to put him out of business. Go ahead, Tim.
All right. No, do I hate Justin? No. I mean, I use the word hate, but do I really hate? No. I pity him. I really do pity him because he's deluded. He's mental. These are all my opinions, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He's deluded. He's I think he's a narcissist of some sort. Me. And he thought that he could be the leader of the band. Let's get the band back together.
Yeah.
Call ourselves TSR. He almost sucked Jim Ward into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he didn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that he approached.
The traitor Deinhardt in the Discord. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only ever heard about this mythical Discord bullshit.
Justin was part of Discord huge. He used Discord. There was a 3-way Discord chat called the TSR Private Business group, and it was me, Lanasa, and Hovermail. Right before, when things really started going bad, I literally went all the way up to the top, and I hit screen capture record, and I scrolled down slowly. So I've got the entire thread, both that and my personal one with Lanasa. And that's going to be part of what I'm going to release if he keeps his shit up. I'm just fed up with him, And, I welcome, Lanasa to call me a liar on anything because I'll be happy to post it. This guy has just went after, it's like the only guy, it's just like, he claimed he was working with Elmore for Monster Manual 3, Demio, which is the 3D dungeon game company out of, I believe, the Netherlands. He claimed that he was working with you, Zeb.
I'd never even heard of him at that point.
He claimed that Zeb Cook was doing specialized modules for TSR. that Errol Otis was doing covers for him, and that
What did he have Ward doing? Didn't he have Ward doing something for
yeah,
him?
he said that Ward was doing a brand new RPG. I think that was actually going to be Giant Lands, and I think when they split up, him and Deinhardt had a big schism between the two of them, and that's when Deinhardt took the URLs, the web addresses originally, wouldn't give them to him. That was back in the late summer of 2021, right as I was like, I think it was like July, because I met Justin in early June.
What happened to Giant Lands?
Deinhardt ended up publishing it and is still trying to flog it. It's a little game about this big, and he wants like 100 and some odd bucks for it, or something crazy like that.
I heard it was a bow wow.
Oh, I've only seen one positive review on Giant Lands, and that was a guy by the name of Wolfpack.
Yeah,
and
he's probably his friend.
He's a TSR loyalist, is what he is. Dave Johnson, using one of his little Korean schoolgirl accounts, gave it a positive review.
Oh,
geez. But
what a band!
But this is what he did. That's how he won you over. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't. When I meet somebody online, I don't start Googling them and doing all that, because I know you can get erroneous bullshit. I know that Google is the worst thing that you can do. Most people do the worst case of confirmation bias using that website. And I just kind of I go more off of the character of the person I'm dealing with. And I admit it. I horribly miscalculated with Justin Lanasa, but I believed him as a man of his word,
Well, yeah, and more's the pity that ethic no longer rules.
Yeah. I'm much more careful now.
Well, you and I hit it off.
Yeah.
And
I want to ask you a couple questions just publicly.
See, I was already a public figure, so you didn't have to vet me.
but Michael, have I ever not paid you?
No.
And have I always, been fair?
No. I think my reputation says is if you weren't, I wouldn't be doing business.
Yeah, and that's my whole point. I mean, the thing is, what this guy does is, this is the lesson this guy doesn't learn. Is just
listen to this. You see this? He'll give you $1,800 for those screen captures. You release those screen captures. Hey, sure, hey, need a little extra cash?
We make a business of this, hey.
Giant Lands is hilariously bad and essentially unplayable, since it looks like Jim wrote a draft and then Deinhardt couldn't afford to pay to revise it. Yeah, not to diss on Jim too bad. I'll give Jim the credit that, it probably was only a draft. It certainly wasn't Jim's better work, certainly wasn't his best. And I'd like to think that that's what happened. Because, hey, we all need revisions and editing.
Yeah.
That's what I did. It's what I still do.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you become, as a publisher and as an author, I love it when I get my work back and, it's chopped up and I'm told what I did wrong, because writing it and creating it, you're so close to it. You make silly mistakes. It's not because you're dumb. It's just because, like with me, I'll make one of my famous ones, instead of THE, for some reason I go TEH. It's just because I type fast.
Yeah, I've done that a number of times.
Yeah. So I think that the editing and proofing stage is the best part, because that's where it really gels and starts to come together after you do all your playtesting.
The best feedback I could ever get from a writer that I published in whatever magazine. Wow, I didn't know I was that good a writer. That's because I just buffed a little here, polished it a little there. That's all I did. I didn't. If it needed a rewrite, I sent it back.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I did. I made people sound better.
Yeah,
that's what an editor does, especially a magazine editor. You want the best sounding articles, the best,
Well,
you want the best.
You did just a few days ago. I sent you the one monster page to take a look at, and you caught immediately.
Yeah,
an
that's
error.
My curse.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had that when I was younger, but at some point mistakes pop out at me. I can't sit down and read a newspaper, a magazine, or I don't look for them. They just jump out at me.
Yeah.
And so that's, well, shit, I ought to be an editor, And so, proofreading. I probably became a good proofreader because I think I was dyslexic when I was a kid, and well before they, diagnosed that kind of stuff. And I was also a very disobedient child at Catholic school, so every time you screwed up, you got that week's spelling words 10 times each, and there's usually 20 words. And so I probably averaged 450 times a week on the spelling words.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of imprinted into my head, like on hot type. And so I just see them.
Well, Kim said based on what he saw, he told Jim first draft was perfect, and like a year later, he hired Penny Williams to edit it after he'd spent a ton of money on art and promos. So, now bear with me here. Penny Williams is who?
Well, that's Skip Williams' wife, isn't it?
Is that Skip Williams' wife?
I think so.
Hey, Kim, is Penny Williams Skip Williams' wife? He'll answer in a second if he knows. Yeah, Kim said yup. Now, Vic Dorso makes a good point. He says, look at Lanasa is editing of those pesky goblins. I did actually a special video on this. It was actually the night that he sent the police to my house. I did a video on those pesky goblins. And, it's typical. And I ran into this with...
He swatted you?
Oh, yeah, he sent the police to my house. They had a search warrant, Tim.
Oh.
They didn't end up doing.
They didn't break down your door armed and.
No. They knocked on my door, and I was like, "Why is there like cops all over the place?" He's like, "You Don?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "We got a search warrant. Justin Lanasa." They never executed it. We actually just sat down at my kitchen table, and I said, "You want to see stuff?" And I broke out everything I had, and they ended up just going through it, and you could just see the light bulbs going off in the guy's eyes
because he was like, getting pissed for having been the equivalent of a prank all that time and energy.
That ain't over with either.
Yeah, okay. Well,
but the thing is it's over with because basically about a month later, there was no charges filed because there was nothing done. They basically investigated it, But those pesky goblins is typical Lanasian TSR, new TSR gaming style. They don't play test. They don't do any play testing. Lack of editing. I have the original that he did where it's still TSR that has the other ISBN before he switched it when the North Carolina bankruptcy case was filed. And this literally mentions things in it that are not in the rules. There's no rules that affect what he says. And his spells are cut and paste from the player's handbook for AD&D. I mean, literally.
First edition, I hope.
Yeah, first edition. I mean, they're cut and paste, but the problem is there's no description. He's regarding on how they interact with the game or spell casting. Like you can go ahead and you can have a mount in those pesky goblins. Like you can have like a war pig. The problem is there's no specs on what a war pig is. How do you use a mount of a war pig? There's no mounted combat. No nothing. It's just like.
Half-ass game, half a game.
Oh, half-ass game, half-ass designed. Giant Lands, the RPG is so bad, the pirate pages will ban you for asking for it. Jesus. Skip Williams' wife, he bragged about he hired a woman from the original TSR.
What? Oh, no offense to Penny, but was she ever on the TSR payroll?
I don't know. That's more of your...
Well, certainly not while I was there. Skip Williams was still a kid.
I don't know.
When I was there, I was 26 when I got there in 75. Mm-hmm. And Skip Williams, and no disrespect to Skip, because I like Skip, I believe Skip was still in high school or just out. if that. I think he was still in high school.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember who was Duck. That was
Duck was Jeff Leeson.
Yeah. Well, Duck worked for TSR because he mowed the lawn.
But didn't he also then eventually Leeson became
well after I left. He was just a kid.
Oh yeah.
He just was a kid that
yeah, you knew him since like when he was a young guy. I mean, really like a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like I knew Luke when he was a little kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
No rules when you hit 0.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, it is you're reading it and he talks about rule mechanics but doesn't expand upon them or explain them. So you're just kind of like, well,
I wonder if he hired Dave Arneson's ghost, because that's kind of the way Dave used to write stuff. And those of us that got to work with Dave's stuff had to well, I don't know. I probably wrote 30% of Blackmar.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Marsh had a huge part with all that Sahagin was his.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that really was Dave was the Temple of the Frog, and
Mm-hmm.
it had to be reorganized. Dave was brilliant with ideas. He just had difficulty conveying them.
Gotcha.
And I'll never take anything away from his creativity. But if you want to see, well, actually, an improved version of how he used to write is if you can find one of those original First Family War games that he published. I think.
What were they? What was that called? That was a
First Family War Game.
Oh, it was First Family War Game?
Yeah, I think it was a Judges Guild, and I think they let him publish the first one untouched. I'm pretty sure the second one kind of heavy on it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, brilliant ideas, just couldn't organize them and tell you how they worked.
Mm-hmm. And
that's why Gygax and Arneson, despite however they got on personally,
mm-hmm.
they were a great pairing for ideas and mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And they both had great ideas, but Gary could put it into a mechanic.
Gotcha.
And the Bronstein game was such a stimulus for Dave to do what he did, but he didn't know what to do with it or how to do it. And Gary banged out a set of rules before Dave even could blink.
Mm-hmm.
So they were a good match in that regard, an idea with an execution.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good pairing, and
well, yeah, it's an ideal pairing.
Mm-hmm.
An idea, it's the idea man and the amanuensis who can make sense of it all as they write it down, organize. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's what? Oh shit!
It's getting late. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I know. I gotta make a video for Saturday release.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this.
Make sure I have a link to this that I can put on the outro on the one I'm going to make later for a little break on Saturday.
You'll have it in about 10 minutes after this is over with.
So that's fine.
But everybody, what we're going to do is we're going to terminate this live, me and Tim. Thank you, everybody who have commented, who's been watching this. It's a video that I honestly really did not want to make, but I just cannot no longer stand by and allow this guy to do this stuff. And when I know it's him and I can confirm it's him with written proof, I'm going to make a video. I will not make accusations I cannot back up, but no more. It's no more. This guy's gonna be fully known for what he pulls, and I'm just disgusted with it. So this is Don at Wizard Tower Games. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm going to leave this video up, so if anyone wants to watch it or snap it or do whatever they want later on, more power to them. And again, my offer is still open. If Justin wants to call me a liar, please point out what part I lied about, and I'll be sure to go ahead and post the proof, because I got no problem with it. I don't hide behind anonymous emails. So, Tim, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Thanks for streaming. Hope that the FO part of... Oh, fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at that, we will leave this video to go.
Perfect place.
Tim, thank you very much. You
Yep.
have garnered the last comment. Everybody, thank you very much, and have a damn good night, everybody, and a good weekend. Happy gaming, okay, guys? I'll see you guys later.